Hello, I am Dr. Shefali. Today, the topic of discussion is how to write a research paper. Actually, there are number of articles available towards writing a research paper, but I would like to discuss some of the perspectives from the point of the reviewer itself, because how reviewer is going to assess your article is very important. Point under discussions if are considered, then definitely we are having some standard format for writing a research paper where you need to give some title, abstract, introduction or some other time background, literature review, methodology, test samples, results, discussions or some analysis. You need to arrive at certain conclusion and you have to include your references. Actually, whatever is the methodology you are using, we need to have certain bifurcation of your methodology and the test samples as the separate entity, because some of the ideas, some of the parameters which are related to the test samples are very important. So we'll just try to check out one by one. Coming to the first topic, or rather first important idea, that is the title. Your title should be very informative and it is relevant to the study what you are undertaking. So definitely your title should clear the aim of your research and the aim of your particular experiment what you have carried out. Now the question is definitely asked that if your title is question, whether it is creating any ambiguity in the reader's mind. So we need to avoid a question in the title itself. We have to give a plain statement. So whatever is the title is there, it should be very brief and it should be clear enough. Whatever are the writing style we are using, we need to use some active verbs in the title itself and we have to avoid some complex noun-based phrases. A good title is supposed to be, that is the understandable, clear, and of course meaningful, and it typically includes 10 to 12 words around. So if any lengthy title is there, definitely that title is supposed to be unfocused and unnecessary. It takes away the attention of the reader so that it is not, say, focusing to the specific topic itself. To have a discussion over a title, I have carried out a small exercise of just selecting some of the titles. I have given 4 titles. I have narrated 4 titles here and I tried to give some comparative, say, discussion over this one. Then we can come up with the, say, better title for a specific discussion what we are going to plan. Say the first title here is An Ethical Hacking, a Quantitative Investigation. So definitely it says that it must be some report and that report must have included some of the points related to the ethical hacking. The second is, whatever the title, what we are discussing, why frustrated employee becomes a hacker. So obviously, actually the point under discussion that okay, ethical hacking is to be there for the discussion purpose, but definitely that ethical hacking must have carried out because of the internal member who is frustrated because of the work tensions. So some sense is given here where that sense is or may not be there, or this is rightly general and you can say that this is a specific one. Here the sufficient idea is given for the ethical hacking purpose. The third title is given, that is the hackers and the crackers. Again, it's somewhat giving you some broad category. So we may have a discussion over this. Then the fourth one is the misvisor, intruder, where the title also includes that a quantitative report on how work frustration can turn to destructive activities. So if we try to find out some of the comparative points, let the first point over which we can have the comparison, whether the given title predicts what exactly are the contents of the paper. So in the first case, yeah, we can say that it can or it is actually containing the contents of your paper. In the second case, why a frustrated employee becomes a hacker, the claim is that it is not exactly giving you some statistical analysis or the report of this one. So we can claim that it is partially reflecting the content. The third one is actually somewhat some general one. It is not giving you some reason behind why the person is becoming the hacker or some specific area under the hacker and cracker. So it is the partially predicting the content itself. And the fourth one is very specific, where misfeasor is the technical term in the cyber security, and it is giving you the idea about the frustrated employee and as well as the report what you are taking as if it is the outcome of particular research topic. So you can say that it is giving you yes as the indication for the prediction of your content. Now let me go for further parameter, whether the given title is interesting. Interesting is another criteria where you need to attract readers, where you need to make your paper somewhat important so that there should be some community who is having some reading of your particular paper. So I can say that the first one, as it is the report only, hardly very few people are interested in that. In the second one, okay, it is slightly interesting. Why it is becoming, some reasoning might have given there. So basically it is interesting. In the third one also, it is slightly general. So I can say that it is not interesting. And in the fourth one, yeah, specifically it's interesting. So we can list it down some parameters. Of course, whatever are the summary, I have taken it out. You may add upon your own parameters, or you can have your study, and accordingly you can check whether the given title is a good or not. Again, I have included another parameter, that whatever is the title you are using, whether it is reflecting the tone of your communication. That is the tone of your particular topic itself. So in the first case, it is not giving anything about the frustrated employee. So the answer is no. In the second one, okay, it is not giving you that you are going to create some report, but still it is giving you, okay, what is the background, why the hacker is there and what is the basic reason. So you can say that it's a yes. In the third one, you are not knowing the specific reasoning. That's why you can say that the answer is no. And of course, for the fourth one, the answer is yes. Similarly, if I go for whether the given title is specific, no, this is not. In the second one, whether this is specific, okay, we are having some yes parameters are here, but still the given title is in a question form. So I should not accept this. In the third one, okay, it is not, it is too general, I should not accept this. In the fourth one, definitely I should go for the action, or rather it's a specific, I can think over the particular title. I'll go for the further parameter, that whether the given title is adding to the context, to the specific idea of the topic under discussion. The first one is partially giving because it is not discussing about the frustrated employee again. The second one, no, it is not giving. Third one is not giving. The fourth one, definitely it is giving. But the only problem when you go for the remaining parameters, all parameters are saying that, okay, this is slightly good or the better title itself. We can fix it up. But again, we need to have a check or the look over this one. Whether the given title is slightly lengthy or not, okay, if you try to count the number of words, the number of words are 14. Okay, these are on the border because we said that the number of words roughly should be 10 to 12 itself. But okay, it can be accepted, but rather if we are able to improve upon for the given title, definitely we can improve. So from the fourth title, basically you may start upon for the having further title, which will be the better in a sense, in the context, in the creating some interest, and obviously predicting what exactly will be the content of your particular research article itself. Then possibly that may appeal, that may that will be the one of the good title for your research article. And title is a very important thing. We have to have certain concentration over the definition of the title itself. Now whenever we'll go for the next idea, that is the abstract. Now abstract is the mirror of the, or rather the essence of your particular research article. You have to define, you have to give the idea, you have to reflect your research article in a brief in the abstract, and that is actually the skillful job. Writing a particular abstract is not easy task. You need to have certain concentration over writing of the abstract. Your abstract should be clear, and whatever is the study you are giving, because the question is always asked that whether your abstract is clear and what the study ascend and how it is carried out. So whatever is the increase or the progress in your study, whether that progress is getting reflected in your particular abstract is definitely counted upon. If your abstract indicates a specific area of the research, that is very important. Though any thirst area you are discussing about, but out of that thirst area, which is a wide area, you need to discuss for a specific pinpoint idea where you need to have a detail or the depth discussion for your particular article or particular, say, technical area what you are carrying out as if it is a research experiment for you. And very important idea what I would like to discuss with you, which is rarely discussed in any of the literature, that whenever we write down the abstract, we have to mention or we have to indicate what should be the target audience for me, what should be the target reader for me. Because if it is getting cleared in within first or the second statement of my abstract, then definitely people who are going to read particular article will find the interest. Otherwise, after reading half of the paper or after reading full of the paper, if reader feels that there is no use of the particular content to that particular community or to that specific reader, then definitely the efforts will go in vain. There is no sense in reading of the paper. So definitely the abstract should reflect that who are the possible readers for the given article. Now, whenever we write down certain abstract, few guidelines I would like to discuss. Most of the times it is said that your abstract should be 200 words. Roughly all around it should be 200 words, but it can change plus minus 50 words because it is totally dependent on the, say, guidelines what are given by the journal or the proceeding what you are discussing or other for whom you are writing your research paper. So you have to follow these particular instructions because these instructions are bare minimum instructions with which the first iteration of approval of your particular research article may be there. Then you need to summarize the functional results of the work and not only if you just go on listing down the topics and the discussions over this one, it is meaningless because you need to have certain experiments and the functionalities for your particular work, and that result, those results, if you probably insist, then definitely those results are appealing. Don't include too much or too less, that is not sufficient background of the methods, because if you go on discussing many of the methods together, definitely these will confuse and you will not get aware that which method is exactly giving you the better idea or the better results. So go for the specific methods, specific techniques, specific technologies, or even if you want to go for the fusion of those, okay, agreed upon, then discuss over those particular methodologies. If those methodologies are going in a parallel, or rather if those methodologies are going in a sequence one by other one, you need to definitely mention those. Then you need to use keywords. Keywords are very important. Most of the times 4 to 5 keywords are allowed. So you need to mention most important important techniques which are under discussions, and if those discussions or if those keywords, if you search with any of the website, then possibly you may find out some supporting material. So such type of the keyword should be there, which is one of the idea where if any reader is lagging about the topic of your particular research article, then possibly knowing or searching the keyword, the person or the reader can get the pace to have the readability of the particular technical paper. So that is the, say, meaning, or rather this is the idea why we should give the keyword, and your keyword should get included some or other way in your abstract itself. So those keywords are the overall contents of the paper, and those are just following the essence of the results and the outcomes. These should be included in your abstract itself. You need to reflect the impact and the significance of your research work. That is why your research work is important. You need to justify. If a proper justification is there, definitely your paper, your article, your work experiment will get accepted over the community itself. Now, whenever we'll try to write down the introduction, slightly we are getting confused. This is the say common observation, that whenever we write down the introduction, we have to follow, or rather some of the questions may get asked by the reviewer, whether the title is clear and what is already known in a specific area in which you are going to have certain research, that whether that area is already known and whether that topic is discussed or not discussed. That is the expectation in your introduction. Is the research statement is clearly outlined? If the earlier attempts, that is the background or the literature what we are saying, are relevant to the topic of the paper. Most of the times it happens that, okay, whatever is the research topic we are say representing, the discussion is slightly diverted. So we should not divert, we should not blur it, we should not dilute the focus of the particular or rather relevant discussion what we are carrying it out. Definitely, it is expected that whatever is the introduction or the background you are giving up, then whatever is the major result, literature you are finding out, you need to have certain comparison, and rather you need to find it out some gaps or some loopholes, and those loopholes should get identified and should get presented in your particular research article. And of course, those gaps, if are in line to the objectives what you are defining in your research area, is very important. So there is always a continuity whenever you are having certain say study of the previous material, then you are finding out some loopholes or the gaps, and then you are defining your problem statement or your objectives. So all these things should be hand in hand. All those things should be in line with one to other. And whatever is the literature or whatever is the introduction we are writing down, there is always again the major problem what we face, that we have to use some correct tense throughout the section. So what do I mean by the correct tense? I'll just have a focus over that tense writing in a few of the consecutive slides. In what way we have to write it down. So whenever we'll go for say literature, which is the next part of your introduction or the background, you need to carry out some literature review. What literature review is that? It is the comprehensive summary of previous research. It should enumerate, it should describe, it should summarize, or it should objectively evaluate and clarify previous research efforts. These are the expectations. We have to fulfill those expectations. There are a number of styles of your literature review. Few of the styles I have listed it down, though I have not discussed in detail. I have just given you, say overview of the literature review. So one of the kind for the literature review is the narrative view. That means it is just giving you some systematic review. It is a sequential review of one and another method, one and another say effort carried out earlier. If there are variety of the styles are there, then definitely you need to have some structured approach. You need to fit upon for some say table or some comparison, how those styles are there, how those styles are matching, or how those styles are differing from one to other, and whichever is the style suitable for you to carry out your work further. If no defined method is there, then definitely some rigorous methods are there, some discussions are there, some observations are there, and with certain say observations, some rigorous methodology you can discuss further, with which you can have the, you may take the help of your particular research in the consecutive sections. If no specific analysis is given, then definitely it's a synthesis method. That means it must have some blended style. It must have some say combined approach, whether you need to have some meta-analysis of the idea. But however, in short, whatever is the literature review we are carrying out, the minor expectation is there that it should be typically narrative. We need to give in that form. Whatever are the published materials that provide examination of recent literature. Recent literature is very important. If any basic idea is there, which is say 10 years back, 20 years back, or even 25 years back, okay, think a lot over this, whether you need to include this for this particular research what you are discussing about. Because whatever is the research you are carrying out, these are say ongoing research categories, and you need to come up with the recent methodologies, recent ideas in the basic technique what you are using this, because the circumstances might have changed a lot, and with the recent circumstances only you need to move further. Your literature expect that whether your literature is covering wide range of subjects. Obviously, we expect that a wide range, that is the breadth level for the specific thirst area, must get discussed, but that can be discussed at the various level, maybe at the say initial level, maybe at the maturity level, maybe at the more expertise level. But once we find out the particular area, that area can be digged into a depth wise, and that particular area can be discussed in detail or you can narrow down the wide range to a small range once a wide range literature is over. I think I have discussed it in a proper way. Whatever is the literature may or may not include any comprehensive searching or some quality assessment, though it is expected that you need to have certain comparison of the literature and you need to brief your opinion with certain assessment idea over that literature. It is better if you are able to go for it. Okay, well and fine, but sometimes it may be possible, it may not be possible. And whatever is the analysis you are providing, possibly you may provide or you may not provide, but if you are providing for your particular research, then that analysis may be either chronological or maybe conceptual or maybe thematic. So either you can have a sequence by sequence discussion, or you may have the base idea over which you can find it out the concept and you can have a discussion over that concept, or rather you can find out some theme and finding or just focusing that theme, your discussion may be there. So any of the methodology for the literature review, you may find it out. I am saying that methodology for the literature review, that means your strategy for the literature review, you can define as per your goal, as per your point of discussion, as per your say statement of your research itself. I would like to go for some of the points for the literature review. As I said that the tense what we are using, always it is making slight confusion for the usage. So what tense to be used? Of course you use, or rather you can use either present tense or past tense. So when to use present tense, when to use past tense. If past tense is there, if your focus is on the study itself or people who studied it, then it is better to use the past tense. In this case, the study would be the subject of your sentence. That is, you can frame your sentence in a way. For example, I'll say that some author ETEL 2012 is the publication, reported that. I have just emphasized over the reported, this is the action verb. So reported that, I can say that this is the past tense. The author ETEL reported that. The past tense is the most commonly used and it's also known as the reporting tense. Now coming to the present tense, if you are sharing your own views about the previous study, that means it might be better to use the present tense. For example, John's ETEL claims that. So John's, this is the first author, ETEL may include some say secondary and a third author, claims that. It is the say their discussion, it is their claim, it is their argument, and that's why the present tense is used. You may see that the year of the publication is the same one, but still here the past tense is used and you are using here the present tense. One comment I have made here that whenever you are writing down ETEL, you can search it out. It is giving you the secondary or the third author or the if other authors are there, because the first author is always given the importance and it is written it down. You may write down all names here, but most of the time the first author is written it down. And whenever you write it down as the ETEL, don't write in the italic form or don't even underline it, because many of the papers indicate that ETEL is written down in the italic. So don't ever write in the italic or don't underline it. This is one of the thumb rule whenever we present in that particular form. So whenever you are using the past tense and the present tense, one other tense which is the combination, or rather you can say that present perfect tense can also be used. Sometimes the present perfect tense is used if the research you are referring to the fairly recent, that means if it is just old by 1 or 2 years, so recent studies have demonstrated that. So you can say that those studies have demonstrated. This is the present perfect tense. It is also used to make generalization about the past research. So even the research is the past, but if your statement, if you want to make it generalized, then you can say that several researchers have studied this, whatever, you can continue further. So have studied is again the present perfect tense. So in that way you can manage your tense, and this is the important right of style whenever you present your English literature. Most of the papers are in English language, and definitely we are lagging for writing English because this is not our first language. So we have to take care for such particular things. Now, whenever we will go for the methodology, actually methodology is the major part of your work experiment. Rather, it should cover more than 2/3 portion. Rather, I would like to say, I am not going in detail for the writing of the methodology. I am just giving you the brief because we may have some another session for the methodology itself. If methodology is checked by reviewer itself, reviewer definitely asks that is the process of subject selection is clear or not. So whenever the research article is there, we concentrate on the results, but definitely apart from the results, the process of the particular experimentation is also very important, and we should give equal importance to the process or the methodology what we are undertaking for the carrying out the experiment. Are the variables, parameters defined and are measured appropriately? That is another criteria. If the range of the parameters is chosen correctly, that is also very good one, because whatever are the constants, whatever are the parameters, that is the constants and the variables, even though you are using, the range is very important. Are the study methods are valid and reliable? If it is reliable, definitely I can accept it. Otherwise, I cannot accept this. Is there enough detail in order to verify the study? That means if any person wants to re-experiment your methodology, then whether it is possible, or if any computer program, I am from the computer background, so I am just taking that particular example. So if any program is there, if any code is there, software code is there, so whether that program can rerun and can give the same result. So you need to have the verification for this. When I say about the same result, then I'll say that it is having some consistent result. How many times you are going to have the checking of, how many times you are going to have the experimentation of your particular methodology, it should give you the same, or rather it should give you similar results. So when I say and similar, it will focus into the same category of your results. So obviously the question is asked that if the method adopted is feasible and falsifiable. So when I say feasible, definitely it should suit with the practical conditions what you are offering for the implementation of your experiment. So if I say that I want to implement a test bed, an experimental setup in my laboratory, okay, I can say that it's feasible. If I claim that I want to go for the experimentation with zero gravity, then slightly we need to have a further care. If I say that it's a generalized experiment, you may verify it, but I have completed this on the moon. So definitely it's not verifiable, and rather it is not feasible. So in what situations you are carrying out your experiment is very important. So whether your methodology is feasible, you need to indicate. And such feasible experiments are more acceptable in the society itself. There should not be any specific constraint while carrying out the experiment. Whatever is the experiment, I again made a comment that it should be falsifiable. That means what experiment you are carrying out, there should be some definite result coming out of it. it should be decidable. It should give you either result yes, it should give you either result no. But if in the first round it is giving me result as the yes, in the second round it is giving me the answer as the no, that means it is having some fluctuations in the results, and those fluctuations if are not allowable, the percentage of the fluctuations, if you say that if these are not allowable, then these are not falsifiable. I need to have the verification, I need to give some answer out of this one, and I need to test that result. If it is that then possible, then only say that I can use that particular methodology, and that methodology adopted is good one. So whenever you claim for your methodology, some of the hints I would like to give you. Give full details of your tools, which tools you are using. If it is the software tool, then which version you are giving. Because your hardware, your software, your program is running with certain conditions. You need to specify those experimental bed conditions, which techniques you are using, and what are the procedures and the processes you are using, what are the assumptions, what are the constraints, what are the precautions you are taking while making up or conducting your experiment. Try to present your mathematical model, or if any prototype is available, or if you are able to make the prototype, present that prototype. You can have certain assumptions, you can have certain hypotheses, you can have your abstract model, thought process, which will give you certain, possible outcome, and that possible outcome is having some logical sense. And if you are having certain experimentation, after experimenting, then you can arrive with the, results, and those results must have getting fitted with some mathematical model, and that mathematical model and your logical model should run in a parallel. So, it should have certain basis to have the proof of your particular experimental bed. Outline your methodology or your block diagram or your flow diagram with proper arrows. What are the inputs, what are the outputs, what are the in between small processes or interdependent processes. You have to give it a proper pipeline of your work idea, flow idea. Whatever are the parameters, what you are using, whether the correct units and formats are utilized, you need to check, rigorous check should be there. Categorize your methods if are observational, if are experimental, or if you are carrying out simulation, or if are derived. So you need to list it down so that your results can be categorized in that way. Whatever are the test samples you are using. So obviously what I feel that whenever you are carrying out some of the experiment, some input should be given, and that input is very important. How valid is your input? How vast is your input? How easy accessible is your input? That depends on your test samples. So whenever you are creating your experimental bed or your test bed, whether that bed is relevant and valid, whether data what you are presenting is the style of the presentation is appropriate, whether the data sets what you are using are freely available. Many of the times you may feel that your guide, your instructor always recommended first go for the freely available data sets, then try to map it with the required one. So if these are freely available, or even if these are sponsored or the proprietary one, if proprietary, if the right claims, RIGHT, if the right claims, the ownership claims what you are following the norms or not, these particular ethics you need to follow. If data set is structured and with the uniform unit, if it is a scattered one, if it is just having some loopholes in the data set itself or the test sample itself, then definitely there is some limitation of the input itself. How important, how correct your input is, that is the major idea where your output's correctness rely. So if your correct input is there, then definitely the correctness of your output will be there. So always try to give the correct input, correct idea, correct format, correct size, correct unit, so that you will get the required correct output. That is actually one of the important equation you have to follow. If sample size is sufficient in size to arrive at the conclusion, because whenever we list out certain results or the conclusion, it should give you some major experimentation over this one. With sufficient expertise, if you carry out over this one, then you will be much confident to arrive at certain results. And whatever are the samples you are using, even though those samples are suitable for a specific experimentation, then for the generalized experimentation, can the sample be generalized, or can those samples be compared from one test bed to other test bed? So that particular idea, if you are able to implement, or rather if you are able to indicate while your methodology, then definitely that will reflect your maturity in the experimentation, and that is important again. So whenever we represent results, we have to take some precautions. Whatever are the tables and the figures, because these are the two likely idea where we summarize our results. So whether the tables and the figures are relevant and clearly presented, whether the appropriate units are used, whether the rounding if required is used throughout the entire results, and if the precision is used, that is the how many points should be there after decimal number, or rather for representation of the floating point number, whether my result is allowed in the say decimal number, or if it is required in the integer form. Okay, it should be thought upon. It should be dependent on the what category or the what is the parameter you are using to measure your result itself. Whether the titles, columns and the rows for your graph or the figure are labeled correctly and clearly, whether the categories are grouped appropriately, because if you have certain classification, or even if it is say grouped into some of the categories, whether the logical idea behind the categorization of those classification, whether this is correct or not, whether this is indicated in the text, because whenever we have certain results and tables, if the text is added in line to the results or the figures, that text should not be the mere repetition of the values what you are giving in your figures. It should elaborate more on the values or the tables what you have listed it down. So text should not only indicate the same thing what you have given in the figure. It should not be repetitive. It should add upon some knowledge or some relevance for the say particular values what you have indicated in the tables and the figures itself. Are you clear about what is statistically significant result? So some statistics should be there, otherwise there is no, whatever the results you are using may be possibly meaningless. Are you clear about what is practically meaningful result? Describe or descriptive captions are there, if are there. So definitely when we use some tables, figures or graphs are there, avoid abbreviations, avoid short forms of any of the technique. Give your particular listing in a full form. That is the requirement of your caption. If selection is a proper for the type of the graph, that means whenever you use graph, if your graph is suitable for the line graph or bar graph or stacked bar graph or even pie graph, you need to think upon, because there are certain strategies which indicate you that in what way your result should be presented. You cannot use blindly as a pie graph or blindly as a bar graph for any representation. It is having some sense. And whatever are your rows and columns are there, for your graphs, if legends are used, if legends can get separated out, if some labels are there, so we need to think more on it. Whatever is the discussion or the analysis we are carrying out, are the results discussed are from multiple angles? We need to think upon this. That means whenever these results are placed into the context without being over-interpreted, we should not have some exaggeration of the observation. We should have some pinpoint say interpretation of the results, and sufficient results. For that purpose we need to find it out. If statistical analysis and its interpretation is reliable, that is the meaning what I want to reflect. So you need to have the provision of the consistent observation. So first observation, second observation, third observation, obviously all those observations should be consistent to one to other. That is the requirement. If operational versus conceptual work match, that means if any assumption or any hypothesis you are going for, or even if you have presented any mathematical model, then the theoretical background for that mathematical model, if it is getting fitted or if it is getting agreed upon, you need to think upon this. If analysis is matching with the abstract logical model what you have defined, that is the sense, that is the essence what I want to discuss. If the discussions are valid, so whatever are the discussions, if those discussions are specific, and what exactly we want to discuss, whether we are discussing the same thing, what we are intended, whether we are discussing the same thing, we have to cross check always. That is very important rather. So when we discuss about the conclusion, if the conclusions are evidence based, if you roughly claim anything, that claim may not be accepted. It should be evidence based. It should be some practical based. It should be some experimental based. Do the conclusions answer the aims of the study or the objectives what you have defined, or the problem statement what you have defined, whether your conclusions are answering for those? Are the conclusions supported by references or the results? So some reference list should be there. Some result list should be there. Are the limitations of the study are fatal? So this is very dangerous. We do accept limitations, but if those limitations are dangerous to the human life, then definitely we are not accepting those limitations. If process is followed by ethical, that means the sense already have discussed about. If indicated opportunities to perform future results, so obviously there should be some extension for your work. Every research must get continuation. Research never stops. So you need to go for some literature survey from where you are just carrying forward your research, and from your research there should be some future with which some other researcher can go for carrying out the line of the action or the line of the research what you are going for. Your conclusion should match the introduction and the abstract, and your conclusion should be concise and clear. That is the mere expectation. So whenever we'll go for the conclusion, a well-written conclusion is having some parameters. There are few parameters. I have just listed 5 parameters because these are, I think, sufficient. So your conclusion is presenting the last word on the issues what you are raised. Then your conclusion is summarizing your thoughts and conveying the larger significance of your study. So we do accept it. Your conclusion is identifying how a gap in the literature has been addressed. So you need to concentrate on a gap and you need to carry forward it for the work and the execution of it. Your conclusion is demonstrating the importance of your idea, your work, your thought process. Your conclusion is introducing possible new extended ways of thinking about the research problem. It is the further expansion, what you can say. So your conclusion should be in your own words, your idea, your thought process, your understanding, your interpretation should get reflected. That is the expectation whenever we write down the conclusion. And of course at the end you need to go for some references and a bibliography. Whichever are the references you are using, you need to have a citation in throughout writing. Maybe for the literature, maybe for the introduction or the background, you need to have a citation. Or even whenever I'll claim that, even if you are going some methodology, you have to give the ownership of the particular experimentation to the specific researcher or the author. Whichever is your contribution, you can write it down at your own without any citation. So whenever you are having some references, whether the references are relevant to the topic, whether these are recent, newer one, or whether these are adequate, that is a sufficient one, and whether these are maintained in a sequence. So whenever we say about the sequence, many of the journals or some of the articles expect that your references should get listed alphabetically ascending by authors' names. But these are very few. In a general way, whatever the sequencing you have to carry out for your references, that is the first come first cited. That is, if I start from the introduction itself and whichever is the first reference I am referencing, then you have to list it down as the first one. So first come first cited is the normal strategy, but it should be, you need to follow it according to the strategy or the author guidelines which might have given by the specific journal or the proceeding to you. You have to follow this. If any major reference is missing or not, you have to take care of the thing. If appropriate key studies are included, all possible 360-degree observation, you have carried it out or not, you need to find it out. If figures are given with the right citation, I would like to insist more on this, because most of the papers I observe that, okay, these are given with the citation in the square bracket. Normally the square bracket is given where you can number out the reference, what you have listed it down. But if you are taking material of the other research paper as it is, for example, if the figure is there, graphs and other are not allowed, rather the figures, of course, you can take it out, allowed, that you can just copy figures from other papers to your papers, but the only thing is that you have to give the right, that is the ownership claim of there. That means, again, under writing down the caption of your figure, you have to write down the square bracket and you have to cite the specific reference. And that is, say, rare observation what I have gone through, but you have to label your figures with the right citation. That is, again, the important idea. And if your references are cited directly, if directly, then these are coming under the references, or if are cited indirectly, that means those are citations are not listed, but whatever are the articles you are referred are important, then possibly you may list it down under the bibliography. So these are the major changes in the references and the bibliography. References, most of the times the citations are included within the paper. Bibliography, not necessarily all citations are included within the particular research article. Nowadays, many of the references are given with the specific sites, that is the URLs are mentioned where you can observe the article. So that in that case it is say mentioned as the bibliography. But bibliography, when you present, that can come under the bibliography or the references. Bibliography, that is always the material is fast moving, or always it is not residing at the specific URL. So you need to mention the period of the access when you have accessed the specific site. That is very important, because if your paper is referenced by some other person after say 5 years or 6 years, at that time possibly at that URL the particular article may not be available. So you have to give clear idea that at what time, maybe say October 2020, a major period you can give, not really a specific date. No need to mention the specific date, but at least the month you can mention and the year you can mention. So in that way you can refer, or you can give your references and your say citations. So whenever I'll have few points to note down here, and these are important in my perspective, I would like to mention here. As I claimed that earlier, most of the research articles are accepted widely in the world in English language, and as English language is not our first language, definitely we need to check twice, thrice or more number of times whether it is grammatically correct or not. This is very, very important, or rather this is a best requirement whenever you represent your thought process in the English language. Then you need to avoid the self-referencing. That means you should not use I, we, us. These words you have to avoid in your particular write-up. If your language is simple and small and understandable, it is widely acceptable. Unnecessarily do not mix these statements together. Do not mix or make your particular language complex enough. Any statements of general fact should be written using present tense. Any statements of general fact should be written in the present tense, and any discussion about the prior research should be explained using the past tense. We have seen that particular slide. Use the passive voice when appropriate or strategic, but don't allow it, that is the passive voice, to affect the clarity and the consistency of your writing. Passive voice is expected, but whenever the author is claiming, so I have written it down. Active voice should be used when it's important to emphasize the actor or the author. Now in your case, author is the actor. So when author is important or the actor is important, right away go for the active voice. But if you want to emphasize the process or the action, then definitely you need to use the passive voice. The proposed experiment claims that, the proposed experiment states that. That means you have used the passive voice. I think I am fair clear here. Give preferences to real verbs, that is the action verbs, and not to just generalized verbs, that is the is, are, was and were. So maximum action verbs you need to utilize in your write-up. And of course I have a last look again, we need to concentrate. If the write-up flow is consistent, we need to check upon, because firstly we write it down as the title, then we'll go for the say abstract, then introduction, and most of the times we are not writing any research article in a single sitting, in a single flow. We are not writing, we are using multiple efforts together, and that's why after writing it down, after writing your abstract, then you are, if you are writing your say introduction, and if then you are using your literature survey, then for the previous paragraph to the next paragraph, previous topic to the next topic, that is the abstract and the literature, or the previous line to the next line, if any consistency is there, if any flow is maintained, you need to check upon. There should not be some hesitations, or there should not be some breaks while reading the particular paper. So the reading also should be very flawless, the reading should be very fluent, and for that purpose the writing also should be fluent enough. If the contents are in line with the aim, if any delta addition to the existing research, because if we are supposed to carry out some of the research, then definitely some progress should get indicated. Even if some small improvement is there, when I say delta improvement, it's a small improvement. Even if it's a small improvement, of course it should be the measurable or rather noticeable improvement. I'm not saying that it's a considerable, it should be noticeable improvement. Then that should be there, and that should be listed down. You have to list down your contributions in a proper way. You have to highlight your contributions. What are the major flaws or the limitations of the article, maybe your article? If limitations are there, whether the limitations are serious, like I have said as a fatal, or rather whether your limitations are say harming any natural asset, or it is harming any living one. Then if it is having the limitation, definitely I should not follow the experiment. I should not go for such particular idea where some problematic situation is there. And overall strengths and weaknesses of your articles should be listed down. If the topic can get extended, that is if any future work is there, you have to list it down. So in that way you can write down your article. There is a great scope to have a write-up for your research article. To go for this overall idea of this particular discussion, I have taken a number of internet resources for the discussion purpose, but majorly I would like to say or I am grateful and thankful to the content given by Pablon Academy, because I have gone for few of the courses given by Pablon Academy as a reviewer, and whenever I used the reviewer's perspective while writing down any of the research paper, I improved a lot. So there is always a scope for the improvement. So we have to think in a way, and we have to move further. Best of luck. We'll meet again.